So, Lieutenant, if a citizen has a complaint against a Hackney driver, what's the process they can follow?
In all the taxi cabs, there's actually a telephone number. So we have somebody within our unit, they take all the calls off the telephone. We have walk-ins that come into police headquarters or any of the districts throughout the city. We have email, we have regular mailing, so there's multiple ways where if someone's a passenger in a taxi cab and they have a complaint, most of the complaints might be the route, might be an overcharge, or it might be conduct. So those are the three main things we seem to focus on mostly when people complain.
How does the Hackney Division process the complaints when they get them?
We bring in all the information, we actually document it onto paper. It goes back to the supervisors. The supervisors delegates that back out onto the floor. Basically all Boston police officers who are now tasked with getting a hold of the complainant, which is the passenger, and finding out exactly what happened. From there we would talk to the taxi cab driver, and then we would just seek out any other types of information. If there were other passengers, witnesses, there might be some film footage in the area. So we do as much as we can. It's really part of an investigation, and then we would actually call the taxi driver in to the Hackney Carriage Division and have a sit down with them.
What tips would you give to a citizen if they want to file a complaint, what to keep in mind?
I always think most importantly, you know, in a sense, you know, when we speak to cab drivers, especially in the academy classes, they're sort of ambassadors for the city. So when we have passengers, we really expect them to be treated very well. A lot of courtesy, you know, kill them with kindness, be very good to the passengers. If they have luggage in the trunk, we get a lot of complaints about lost property. Failure of taxi drivers to, you know, remind them that they have stuff in the trunk or they might have some items left in the vehicle. But to, you know, show some courtesy. If there's a question about the route, you know, just pause and say, you know, can you help me with the route before it becomes a long route. And the overcharge is another big thing. Just there's sometimes discrepancies on some of the longer routes as to what the pricing might be. The Hackney Carriage Unit, basically, you know, we regulate the industry. So we're basically all about, in my opinion, three things. We're all about the safety of the cab driver. You know, part of the classes, again, is to talk a little bit about the city, you know, some of the dangers, what to do in the case you're being robbed. For the general public, we pay a lot of attention to how the taxi drivers perform in the street. We do a complete driving history. So if someone has lengthy speeding violations, refusal to stop, going through red lights and stop signs, we'll suspend that license. And the other most important thing is obviously the safety of the passenger. We want to make sure that they're protected when they're in the vehicle, and that, you know, good things happen and it's a great experience. If it's not a great experience when they're driving in our taxis in the city of Boston, then, you know, we respond to that, and a lot of times we might suspend the taxi driver's license.